I think he's going to be the best offensive player the franchise has ever had. Jose, you know something about that. How do you think Soto's bat or his swing will play at Citi Field?
First of all, Soto swings play in every ballpark that he plays, So I do my homework. I think Soto number on Citi Field, he got 12 homers in like 39 games. I mean, that's just beautiful. I don't worry about anything. I think he's gonna hit homer in Citi Field like he was hitting homer in every ballpark that he played. But I think the key is gonna be who's gonna hit behind Soto, because if you got the guy behind him is not that high in that moment, it's gonna be tough for him to swing the bat, because he's the guy when they don't pitch around, he's gonna take a walk and stuff like that. And the key for me thinking is who's gonna be behind him, and then he's gonna match home every time in Citi Field, so it's no problem.
To Jose's point, at Citi Field, a 709 slug, an OPS of 1175, career at Citi Field, which is one of the best in the sport as a visitor, and one of his best too. So, and it's over like a quarter of the season coming in, and some of those years he didn't have protection. Like Ryan Zimmerman was some, but then there was others that he had nobody. So he's put up numbers even without a guy behind him in the lineup. So, I think because of the swing, because of that ability to hit for power the other way too, and put the pull power. Like, I don't think there's a ballpark really in the sport, never mind Citi Field, that can really contain him.
Well, you guys nailed it. Listen, Juan Soto is going to mash home runs in any ballpark. I don't care where it is. And feels like anytime you watch him at Citi Field, from his days with the Nationals to the San Diego Padres, that second deck in right field, he would wear that thing out. He wouldn't just hit cheapies, he would hit moonshots. Now, we do have to acknowledge he's leaving a stadium that's tailor-made for left-handed hitters. So those home runs to right field, you may see a little bit of a dip. I think Vegas has the over-under for homers for Juan Soto in the low 30s. I think that's where it will be, Sal. I don't think we're talking about Juan Soto hitting 45 or 50 home runs this season, but we know the walk rate is going to be there. We know the OPS is going to be through the roof. And to your point, he is going to profile and is going to be one of the best hitters in the National League without question.
I went back on the MLB app this weekend. I was just watching the highlight of Soto home runs at Citi Field, and that's where I noticed, I'm like, my God, I have not seen a lefty at Citi Field do what Juan Soto has done. Think of like you've seen right-handers go opposite field. I get Yankee Stadium, lefties are going to pull the ball down the line. I think it's more about Judge being the protection for Soto, but a lefty at Citi Field, even with the new dimensions, to hit homers that way, I mean, unless I'm missing somebody, those are far and few between, which is why I think he's going to be upwards of the mid to high 30s for Soto, even leaving the Yankees in that loaded lineup. And speaking of which, this Mets lineup, it has the potential to be the best since Jose's 2006 team, which was an offensive juggernaut. You look at the top five in each of these lineups. Now, this was the lineup from that Game 7 against the Cardinals. I know. But both lineups are loaded. And the 2006 lineup doesn't even have Cliff Floyd in there. You got Chavez in there, who was playing in that Game 7 there. Floyd obviously pinch hit later on. But, Jose, you mentioned this before. Pete is going to be the protection for Soto. That's going to be a big part there. But it begs the question, which lineup is better?
That's a great question.
Jose, we'll start with you. Which lineup is better, your 06 team or this 2025 team?
Because I played in 2016, 2016, I'm going to say 2006 lineup was better. So, all around.
Yeah, well, give me a little explanation on that. Better leadoff hitter?
We got like three. Don't get me in trouble. So we got like three players, like David Wright, Delgado, and Beltran, over 30 homer and over 100 IBR, So I don't know if we're going to have it in this team, maybe, because some talent there. But for me, 2016 was better. So that's my opinion.
I mean, that team scored 834 runs. It's the second most in Mets history when it comes to runs scored. Only followed by the 1999 Mets team that I was a part of, Sal. So
that team
not
together,
I was a part of that team. But but that team really with Jose, because they had a little bit of everything, right? They had the speed, they had the power, they had switch hitters. The lineup was so deep. It fell off a little bit, I think, last year with the Mets, how deep it was, the lineup, and I think that's where maybe it came up a little short. But they scored 768 runs. So can they score 70 more runs with Soto and a full season of Winker? I think that's doable for this team. Like they could get to where the Mets were back that time. But that's what they would have to do. Similar team to last year. 70 more runs, adding Soto. I think that, half a run per game. I don't think that's too much to ask for this team.
Jose, I got you back, buddy. Listen,
Thank you.
I got you back. That 2006 Met lineup was ridiculous. You had this guy stealing 70 bases. You had David Wright in the prime of his career. Carlos Delgado, as somebody that rooted for the New York Yankees, he struck fear in me anytime I would see that guy come to the plate. And you had Carlos Beltran, a switch hitter, who to me is a Hall of Fame caliber player. I love this Met lineup a lot, but what made that 2006 lineup so good, 1 through 5 was relentless, and you had guys really step up. We were talking about it before the show. Jose Valentin came out of nowhere that year and was unbelievable at the bottom of the order. Can the Mets get those sort of contributions from guys like Beatty or McNeil, whoever it might be? You're going to need that if the lineup's going to be as good.
Alvarez when he comes back healthy. Yeah, I love the conversation. I also agree with you, Jose, and everybody else here. I think 06 is better. I just like the fact that we could talk about it in comparison to say, hey, this is the best lineup on paper since that 2006 team that was absolutely loaded with star power.